Hello everyone, it's time today to empty this Hotbin Composter, the one I was very kindly given to test, review and feedback information on it. Now I'm going to empty this today, and I started filling this in September and I stopped filling it about 6 weeks ago, and we're nearly at the 3-month stage of feeding this with compost, because that's what I call it. I'm feeding the compost, or feeding the bin within this and the compost. But something that right at the very start, the instructions were very clear, was to put this on a level base. And I had it initially around the side of the big polytunnel there. Didn't like the position and moved it, but it was on a firm sort of level soil base and there was no problem. Brought it around here and I thought, I know, I'll put it on a pallet, I'll level the pallet, put the compost bin on that, and everything will be hunky-dory. What I didn't take into account was the pallet getting wet and warping, which it's done, which is why I've got this spirit level here. And people did comment about this gap at the bottom here. That's my fault. It's not a fault of this Hotbin Composter. And as you can see, I've leveled this off. This level is now completely level. It's under a stone. It's all tilting into the soil there, and it's not good, and that's why we've got that done. So after this is emptied and before I refill it, I'm going to be digging out some of this soil, because this land slopes up this way and slopes up that way. That's why I had to dig out that polytunnel last year, dig out the ground to get that level. So we'll do the same here before I reset and refill this when I come to do that. But I just thought that was necessary to point out. Now I stopped filling this one and started filling my own homemade DIY one in the main tunnel there, as I say, about 6 weeks ago, because then this was right brimmed full. There is some settlement now, and we'll see that in a few minutes. But I'm going to start emptying it, and the top part of it, there won't be much rotting at all, and that will all need to, well, it doesn't need to, but I will be putting it into the Hotbin in the main tunnel. And take the strap off, and we'll see if we can dismantle this. So very carefully I'm going to take this top layer off, and I say carefully because I don't want to damage the actual Hotbin. Just seeing if there's any heat there. Actually, there is actually still heat there in that. So that means that can mix straight away in the other Hotbin, and I'll mix it with some greens and browns as I add it in. But that's breaking down quite nicely actually, and that's the topmost layers. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Right, well, it seems I was a little bit premature in opening this, but I haven't gone too far with it. I've only taken these things off, which are the one layer, and I've got a trug out of it. It's mostly rotted down, and I would happily dig this into my soil on a soiled area. And if we go and have a look at the bin itself, I've had a little dig down, and down there you can see this stuff here. This is warm, crumbly compost. So it is all happening in there. I've just been a little bit premature in emptying it. So I've taken the one layer off, and we're left with this one layer left behind with it full. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat all that down, tidy it up, and put the lid back on as this one layer, and then I'll leave it another 5 or 6 weeks till around Christmas or just after, and we should be good to go then. And I do need to cut up the stuff better that's going in there. There's some really long straggly bits that I must have just chucked in, but more than happy with this. And this I'm going to go and put on my other homemade compost heap. Measured the temperature on this, and it's about 20 degrees. So although it is cooling, it's still not quite ready. It needs a little bit more maturing time. So there we go, the lid back on. I'll leave that till Christmas now. It's mostly ready, and I suspect the lower levels will be ready, but I'll just let that finish off there, and then we'll go and deal with this in the other hot composting bin. I've just not got to be so blooming keen. That's my trouble. And it's only 3 months. Well, it's not even 3 months yet since I first set it up here. So if I'd have put all the material in at once, within the first week, then it would probably be a lot better off. But to say, that stuff on the top, it's only been in 6 weeks, and although it is rotting down, and I'd be happy to dig it in soil, it's not really compost yet, and that's my fault for being too keen. But we'll go and get this other stuff in the other compost bin. There we go, we'll get this in here now. I'll just get you in close and you can have a look at this. So I've been constantly filling this, probably twice a week now, and you can see if I pull out there, it's still got a way to go before it's full. Obviously just keeps sinking, but I've put a thermometer in here, and I'll just change the camera a bit and zoom you in. You can see that that's right in the fun zone there, just about 60 degrees. So that's keeping and maintaining a good healthy temperature to get things moving in here. I'm just going to fork this into this this compost bin. I'll just break it up as I go, separate it up. So there is some residual heat within this, so I don't think it will affect the heat that I've got in here. But what I will do when all this is in, I'll give the top layers a bit of a mix up, and then I'll put a right good thick layer of cardboard on top, and then leave it for a good week, let it all heat up again nicely, and then I can start adding some more green material, grass and things, and some more cardboard, and get it going again. There we go. I think we're down to hands now, hence why I've got the gloves on. It's not made such a thick layer as I thought it might actually, so that's all right. I'll get that little trug that's out there as well and get that in. I'll just show you this. So that's where we're up to now, and you can see it's not too thick a layer. You can see the paper and cardboard layer just underneath it, so I don't think that's going to come to any harm. So it's looking quite good as it is, just needs a bit more time to mature. So there we go. I was just a little bit too keen and eager to empty that hot bin. 6 weeks wasn't long enough, and a total of nearly 3 months wasn't quite long enough. I suspect, as I said while we were out there, that the lower levels are very well composted down and ready to use. This in itself is looking quite good, and as a compost, let's say, I'd be very happy to dig that into my beds, but I would like it further composted down. So I'm going to continue filling this. I'm going to mulch it heavily now with cardboard. I've got tons of it in here, box after box. Put a real thick layer and let that really heat up over a week. I won't touch it, and in the meantime I can collect some more greens to go along with all these browns I've got in here, and then fill this up and cap it, and then leave that one until I really need to empty it, which will be probably into February, start of March next year. That one out the back I'll leave now until probably just before Christmas, and I'll empty that, and that's going to be used as a mulch anyway. So whatever it comes out like will be spread on a bed, probably in that back tunnel. So it's coming along. It's just not as quick as I want it to be. There you go. I always do warts and all, see. There we go. I was hoping to have big barrows of compost coming out of that today, but there we go. Just far too eager. Anyway, that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone, and stay safe. And I'll see you all in a couple of days with something that'll work.